Hello, and welcome to another Monday's live stream. I've got a very special guest today. I've got Farah, who's from Farah Networking, and she's going to be talking about building meaningful connections on social media. And Farah is the expert at it because she's got over 100,000 followers, but not just random followers. Interactive followers that interact with her all the time. She has fantastic conversations. So I'm going to be handing you over we're going to have a chat with Farah today. So again, if you are watching live, please do introduce yourselves in the chat. Tell us what you do. Tell us all about your business. Promote yourselves. We're happy for that. Ask any questions as we're talking. And you know me, I'm Bex from Social Media Executive. And please do subscribe to my channel if you're watching this on YouTube, because every week at 12:30, I'm sharing lots of tips and advice on social media, as well as having some fantastic guests on here as well.
Yeah.
So, hi, Amanda. Thanks for saying hello. Amanda's from Redwood Copy.
Hi,
Amanda's
Amanda.
great
Hi.
blog. In fact, Amanda writes our blogs, Farah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And then, hi, Andrea from Cheshire Virtual PE. Thanks for saying hello. Right. Well, without any delay, Farah, tell us who you are and what you're going to be talking about today.
Social media.
Yeah.
It's all about visibility. And this is what I always talk about. I'm Farah Hussain, the founder of Farah Networking. Meaningful connections is so important to me, Bex. It's everything. I believe now, especially with what's happened during COVID, is that we all need to get together. We need to support one another, regardless of its personal life or business life. We need to connect at that level. That's why I opened doors to Farah Networking, because don't take this in the wrong way, I've been networking for the last 10 years and there's some really good events out there, but some of them are just done on the surface. And when you're doing networking on the surface, you don't build meaningful connections. And this is what I say about visibility. If you're not in front of those screens, if you're not in front of those people tend to forget. We forget.
Yeah, and it's true, isn't it? I mean, my business is just over 3 years old now, and I did an awful lot of networking to begin with. And I went to loads of networking events, but I always went back at least 2 or 3 times to find out if I connected with the people, if I felt comfortable. And there's some now networking groups that I regularly attend. But I do find that people will just come to one and then disappear, and you'll never see them again.
Yes. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. It's consistency, isn't it? It is all about consistency. You've got to be there. You've got to be credible. You've got to support and help one another. It's not about you. It's about how can I serve someone? How can I help someone? That's how networking is done. When you've got the mentality of going into a networking event and you're thinking, I'm going to get a sale, you're better just walking out, because it's not going to work for you. You may get that one odd sale, but after that, I'm sorry to say, it's not going to work for you. And then what they do is they tarnish the networking events to say it's not been good, because you've got to look at yourself. You've got to take accountability and responsibility about what you're doing and why you're going in there in the first place as well.
No, and that's exactly right. Early on, when I started networking, and this is really good advice, and I wish I could remember who said it, but they just said, you're not going to networking to sell to the people in the room. You go into a networking event to connect with people and really generate some potential referrals from people in that room. And it's about those connections, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And we met, didn't we, Farah? We met on a Federation of Small Business, FSB.
FSB, yes. I'm a big ambassador of FSB. Absolutely love what they do. Jerry Brennan was an FSB advisor, a very close friend of mine. He's the one who introduced FSB to me as well. Bless him, he's passed away just last month with a brain tumour. And it was such a loss, but still, I'm still a big advocate of FSB. So yeah, that's where we met, Becca.
That's where we met. And then we connected on LinkedIn, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
You sent me a lovely message, and I just thought, that's just really lovely, because not many people send messages when they connect, do they, on LinkedIn? And then and I looked at your LinkedIn profile, and just what popped up was a lovely video in your featured section, and I've written it down actually. It was the Lavelda show. You're on that YouTube with Lavelda there, and you said something. I actually watched it, and you said something, and I'm gonna just mention this, but you said, which I love, the day you stop selling is the day you make sales.
Yes.
I thought that was fabulous.
Yes.
Do you want to explain
Of
what you meant?
course. Bex, what I actually mean by that is that it isn't all about selling. It's about having conversations. And when you stop, see that mindset of yours is that like, oh my God, I've got this pen, for example, I'm going to sell it. But people don't want to hear that. They can buy and they can get anything whenever they want because the internet is there, online shopping is there, everybody can buy stuff whatever they want. But that connection that you have with one another is priceless. And people buy people. So when you have a conversation, during that conversation, you probably say, right, I do Farah networking, I run networking events, or you do social media. But then once you get to know one another, then you get to know what they do. And when you build that trust, selling just comes. It just falls naturally. But the first thing is always is having that connection. And stop, please, everybody, stop selling. Honestly, if you stop it, it actually works.
It does. And this is not just about networking, but I always look at social media as social media is a networking platform.
Yeah.
And I think people often forget that. And I always speak to my clients time and time again, you're not going onto your social media to generate immediate sales.
No.
Yes, you might want to talk about what your offers are, what your products are, but ultimately it's about building a community around your brand, isn't it? And you've done that really successfully. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey and how you sort of developed this great following on your social media?
It's not something that you just wake up and do, and you wake up and you put something out there and you get a following. It's not about that. I know a lot of people say I don't have enough followers on Instagram and I don't know what I'm doing, and then they fall prey into all these things that, oh my God, they get that anxiety and overwhelmed feeling. The way I started going on, it started through LinkedIn, and LinkedIn was the first platform that I literally used for business, and then when people got to know me through LinkedIn, when all the stuff that I was posting. But I always used to think when I first started was, if I put something out there, what if I get the comma wrong? What if I spelt this word wrong? What are people going to say? And that was my first thing when I started doing it. But then afterwards, I'm like, it doesn't really matter because everybody's going through the same thing. It was like a light bulb moment. Everybody's going through the same thing. That was my LinkedIn, but it was during COVID, I think I started using TikTok.
Okay.
TikTok, it was one of those platforms I just didn't understand. And I was like, how am I going to use it for business? But then because I kept thinking it in the wrong way, I thought about business, I thought about sales. And I thought, no, it's not going to work. And it's not until I did one video, my kids, we were just having fun, and we just did one video and that went viral overnight. And then I realized the reason why it went viral is because it resonated with my community.
Yeah.
Because I would have wear a headscarf, I'm a Muslim woman, married, young children, and I'm out there putting myself out there where nobody would really think that is the norm to do. It is not the norm to do. And that's when I understood, and that gave me that confidence and that gave me that platform, is to get that engagement and talk about what they want to hear, not what I want to do. And then when you decide that, okay, this is what's resonating with your followers, and I've always wanted to create a group of like-minded people, a community where people can build that trust, work together. It could be face-to-face, it could be online, but because of COVID, we can't go everywhere, right? But we're online and this technically it's a small world. You can go anywhere and build those connections and build that tribe. And what best way to do it is by just being authentically you. Using platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or LinkedIn. But the thing is, you can't master all those social media platforms.
No, and I think that's a really important point, isn't it? People come to me and say, right, Bex, can you teach me how to do Instagram? And we also need to look at Twitter and we need to look at Facebook. And then, I just go, right, okay, well, just stop there. What platform are you using at the moment? oh, well, I'm using this platform. I'm like, how's it working? Are you generating business inquiries? Are you getting conversations? Well, no, that's why we need to launch on the other ones. And it's like, well, no, we actually need to address the one that's not working at the moment, get that working, and really understand what people want to listen to, what your customers, isn't it? What your customers want to listen to.
Yeah.
And then you can roll it out, can't you, once you've sort of conquered that.
Yeah, it's so important. You're absolutely right, Bex. It's like if you master one and then you roll up the other ones and continue doing it, because it's a process. Everything that we do is a process. So when you start going on to, let's just say, Instagram, you want to do reels. Now, don't worry about it if nobody likes it or views it. It doesn't matter. You can just put on one video and that could go viral overnight. You just don't know what could happen. But the most important thing is, what does your client want to see? What value can you provide? How can you help someone? Remember, remove you. Just remove yourself and think about what others want. And when you start thinking about it, that you provide value, then your following starts getting up. Your numbers just come in and the followers are there because they genuinely want to follow you. They want to know what you're doing. They want to hear from you. And that's so important.
And I think you've hit the nail on the head there where you said, then you build followers that genuinely want to follow you. Right. I think people are these days, there's such a rush to grow their followers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're in such a rush to grow their followers. I see it time and time again. They run competitions. They try and lure them in by saying, follow me and you might get X, Y, Z. But it's about really wanting people to genuinely follow you and genuinely value what you've to offer in your social media, so that they come back time and time again. There's no point having a gazillion followers if they're then not engaged with what you're doing, because that's what we want, isn't it? We want that engagement.
It's really good what you've said there, Bex. And if you actually follow up from there and you actually think, you can't be everybody's cup of coffee. This is how I say it. I know the terminology is tea, but I always say you're not everybody's cup of coffee, right? Not everybody is going to follow you. Not everybody is going to like you. But there will be certain people who do really want to listen to you and follow you for the right reasons. So if you look at life itself, you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, right? You don't want negative people. You don't want negativity. You don't want that surrounding you. And it's the same format on social media. It's so important to follow the right people who inspire you, who motivate you, right? They know that person will uplift us. Now, don't take this the wrong way. There's tons of influencers out there that I don't follow and I don't agree with, right, for various reasons. Because you've got to think about it. Just because you're an influencer doesn't mean that brands are going to come to you and you're going to get paid for that. That's not the thing. But you've got to understand, if you're going to put yourself out there, you've got to put yourself in front of the right organizations, because the work that you do has to stand for something. You've got to value yourself and you've got to follow the right people for the right reasons. And when you look at that, I mean, I've unfollowed a lot of people. I think, no, they're not any use to me. So that's important as well. So don't think about, oh, I have to have all these followers. You'll see people will follow you, they'll change, then they'll unfollow you. Don't let that get you down as well.
And it's really it's a bit of a vanity thing, isn't it? Particularly when you're starting out as a new business. It's a bit like, oh crikey, I've only got this many followers. What are people going to think? Then people panic and they go and buy followers, which are basically robots in a warehouse who are never going to interact with you anyway, and actually can do your account so much damage, because when you do create content, it's going to robots that are never going to talk to you.
Exactly.
So it's so much, people are obsessed, and I'm a bit like you, Farah. I go through my followers and I actually delete them. I delete some of them on Facebook because I just go, they're following me for the wrong reasons. They're not of value to me, and I'm not adding value to them. So, I want an engaged community. I don't want Facebook to decide, oh, today I'm going to send your postbacks to Bob. Well, Bob is totally not my ideal client. So for me, that's a wasted wasted share, because I know Bob is never
Exactly.
going to engage. So
Yeah.
my
And
social media
Bex,
content's
people want to
not going to
see
help.
behind the camera. They want to see you as an individual. They don't want to hear all the jargon about your business. They want to see you. And once they trust
That's a
you and
good
get to
point.
know you, they will then want to know, what do you actually do?
Yeah, no,
You
that's
know
a
what I mean?
really good point. So how do you sort of structure your content then to be your authentic self, as you like to say, and really shine a light on who you are?
Bex, what it is, I've worked on myself for so many years now. I've done a lot of self-development, and I understand that people are walking just like an autopilot, and they've got so much stuff that they need to unblock, right? When you start unblocking all the inner stuff, right, and then once you start doing that, you build your self-confidence and self-belief. You stop listening to the outside noise. When you stop listening to the outside noise, you don't care what people say to you. So I can even put up a video without any makeup, which I do. So if I'm out and I'm going for a walk and I just come up with something like, oh my God, this is a great thing for me to content for my viewers or my followers, then I'll just go and give myself live and I'll just do it, because I don't care. I really don't care. And this is what I want people to understand. You don't have to have your full makeup on. You don't have to be suited and booted to go out there. People want to see the real you. And it's so important that if we can be us, if I can show that and encourage people to do that, then it will be easy for them to come out and build that content and do reels or videos. Now, I'm a storyteller, and this is why videos and reels and TikTok comes naturally to me, right? But I don't like to write, and that's why I don't use Twitter a lot. You see what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
I like telling stories and visual stuff. That's the difference.
Is that because you're bit too limited on Twitter with the
It's too
character
limited.
count?
I can't see what I think doesn't come out the way I want to write it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I just avoid that. So I like, I rather tell a story, because I can tell a story. I can put out the captions as short and sweet, and the reels and videos and all that stuff is just natural to me. But it wasn't natural to me years ago, because I was a person who didn't like a picture on my profile page. I didn't like taking pictures. And somebody said to me the other day, oh my God, I remember, Farah, when I said video, your face just dropped. Yeah. And just look at it now, because now I don't care what others say. I will do it as it is, because I know me. I know my values. And honestly, if you don't like me, not a problem, just scroll by. But there'll be other people that will like what I'm saying. So it doesn't really matter.
And it's about, and I think, you've hit on a really good point there with regards to social media, is that we're using our social media to network and build connections and build relationships, and really build those, as we say, meaningful connections on social media. And I always use this little example when I speak to my clients, particularly because confidence is a big thing on social media, particularly when you're just launching your own business. And I always say to my clients, well, I ask them, do you go out, do you do networking, or do you go to sort of trade shows or anything like that? How do you sell your products face to face with the customers? And they're like, oh, well, yes, we do that. I was like, right, okay. So how would you feel about putting a picture of that on your social media? And they'd be like, well, that's fine. I'll just take a picture of my products as long as my face isn't on there. And I say to them, I said, okay, then, well, can I ask you a question? Next time you go to that trade show, or next time you go to that networking event, will you walk in with a bag on your head? And they always go, no. I was like, no. So why are you hiding on your social media? This is your business. This is who you are. People love you face to face. Why are they not going to love you a photo? The trouble is, we don't like our own pictures, do we? None of us do.
Nobody does. Even I
Everybody
don't.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hate
Yeah.
mine. I hate
Yeah.
seeing myself. But other people, that's who we are, isn't it?
Yeah. But then the thing is, if your content is good and it's engaging, people forget what you look like. All they hear and they see is read, or they listen to what you're actually saying. And the other point of using social media through networking is that I always say to people, when you come out networking, it's never about the selling, it's all about building the connections. But what you're also doing is curating raving fans. Now, Bex, what I mean by that is, let's just say I met you, Bex, and I really like your services, right? I'm having a conversation with someone, and I think of Bex because you're on tip of my tongue, because I'm in awe of you. I like what you do. And it's a natural thing for me to recommend your services. And not just that, when I see you on LinkedIn and I see you on social media platforms, I'll naturally want to engage with you, share your posts, put in comments, like them. And that's what you're creating. You might not get that physical sale right there and then, but trust me, if you follow this process, by building up trust, building those connections, and then those other people will start seeing the engagement. And that's how people come to you. And that's exactly what's happened. I'm living proof of that, Bex, because a lot of stuff, the engagement I have on LinkedIn, literally I get messages in my private message and saying, Farah, I don't understand. You get so much engagement. There's so many people that love you and respect you. What the hell do you do?
Yeah.
That's such a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what I want people to understand. It's not about getting the sales, building those connections, creating visibility, building that trust. Trust me, your sales will follow. And when you get the sale, it will be a hot lead. That person will want to work with you because they've seen all the stuff that you've done. But if you have no social media visibility, they're not going to know what you do. So it's going to be double or triple harder to put your products out there and sell them. Everything that we do is a stage and it's a process, and you've got to trust it.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. So you've grown your TikTok following tremendously, haven't you? That's grown phenomenally over the last 12 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what do you think then, just to summarize then, what we've been talking about today, what were your sort of 3 takeaway tips for anyone watching today when they are building this community, building meaningful connections on social media?
The 3 things I would always say is just trust your gut. Trust your gut, right? You as a consumer, you are the person who's scrolling through. When you're looking through your stuff, right, you know which ones you like, and you'll like it, you'll follow it, you'll do it. That's exactly how you should be thinking as well. So just be you. Don't worry about it if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter. Show your vulnerability. It's so important. And have a laugh of the ones that you make a mistake of, because what your likes and follows will be more than the ones that you've just tried to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You can take tons and tons of shots and you'll always think, oh, I should have done it this way. I had an angle that way. It should have worked like this. No, forget it and stop thinking about what other people are going to say.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
It's so important.
I remember I did a post before lockdown when I was doing a workshop. I just did a fantastic post, and honestly, I had an amazing double chin. I just put it out and just said, "This is this week's best double chin shot."
Love it.
And fun. What I picked out of that as well is being fun. And I think what people forget sometimes when they're creating their social media for their business to sell their wares is that actually, particularly if you're looking at TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, people are on there, aren't they? For their pleasure time, in their leisure time. They want to be entertained. They want to be informed. They don't want to be sold to, do they?
They don't want to be sold to. They can go and buy. If they want to go and buy a product, I'm sure they'll find a place to buy it. But when you build that connection and then you find out, then they'll want to. Wanting and being forced to do something are 2 different things. And see, when you want something, you'll find a way to buy it. You'll find that money. You'll find that investment because you want to do it as well. And going back onto views on social media, it doesn't matter. Some of my videos, Bex, right, just had maybe 10,000 views or even less than that. And some of the videos have had 3 million views. And one I put up last night has gone viral overnight. So it doesn't matter about the views. It doesn't. It means that what stuff that you're putting out there is resonating with your followers. Honestly, it's no rocket science. Take a deep breath. Everybody can do it. The simple as that.
Yeah. As long as you're authentic and genuine.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's been an absolute pleasure today. And again, if anybody's got any questions, please do put them in the chat for Farah, and she'll answer them. And again, if you're watching this on catch up, just put any questions in the chat, any thoughts, put them in the chat, and we can come back to them after as well. We're happy to answer any of those. But no, it's been brilliant, Farah. I really like watching your content. I think you've built a fantastic community, because you don't just post, do you? You don't just be your authentic self. You actually engage with everybody. Not everybody, because you've
trying to do my best.
Yes. You do an awful lot.
Overnight, I can't. But yeah, do my best. Yes.
Yeah. And I think what I've taken from this is that start small with the small wins and build your confidence.
Yeah.
And really just be true to yourself, and that's how you build trust. And once you've built trust, that's when you can start those conversations about explaining what you do.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And how you can help other people. So Farah, if people want to get in touch, how should they get in touch with you then? And tell us, because you run some great networking events as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do Farah Networking on a Monday, Tuesday and a Wednesday, and it is international. So you can look through my website with all the details.
Okay.
If you want to connect with me, then you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok, or just Google Farah Networking and you'll find all the details there. I'm very visible. I talk the talk and I walk the walk, and I make sure that I'm found. So yeah, I'm easy to find, but I'm approachable as well. So if anybody's got any questions about networking or anything like that, or building close connections, I'm happy to help and assist.
And actually, we just had a question from Jenny. So Jenny's just put, I always wonder about being personal on a company page. Does that work, or is it crossing over the line too much? That's where the genuine conversations are with me. Oh, and that's a good question, because actually,
very good question. It's a very good question.
That's what we've been talking about. We've been talking about business pages today, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. So for example, Jenny, I've got two pages. I've got my own personal page and I've got a company page on LinkedIn, but on Instagram, it's just me, my brand, and that's it. So I'm promoting my brand on Instagram, but on LinkedIn, I've got two. But Jenny, there's no right and there's no wrong answers. You feel what's good for you. And if you just be you and share it on your business page or your own page, it doesn't matter. So that's what I would do. I know other experts will tell you differently. It's worked for me. I've had no hiccups, so I don't see why it wouldn't work for you.
Yeah, and I would say, try it. I think business owners sometimes hide behind it. I'm a huge advocate of really, business owners, staff, the team, as long as they're happy to, being active on social media, particularly if they're customer facing, because these are the people who are going to be talking to the customers and building those relationships.
Exactly.
And if they then spot them on their social media, then they resonate with them, don't they? They might not recognize a post on a business page, but they're going to see someone from there, aren't they?
I don't know if Jenny's on TikTok, but if you look if you scroll through TikTok, there's immigration officers, there's doctors, there's dentists. Their pages have just flown up because they add value. They talk about what they do, but it's about them and by providing value. So it works both ways.
Yeah. But no, that's a good question. So even if you are managing anyone's social media platform, get pictures of the team, get pictures of the staff.
Yes.
Put them on the social media. Get a feel. What is the business? What is the business's mission? What are they passionate about? And really try and get that across with there. And I'm just sharing all your links now, Farah, on social media, which is why I'm looking a bit distracted.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But yeah, thank you so much today, Farah. It's been really, really interesting. I follow your stuff, and I tell you, one of the things that always resonates with me is few of the sessions you just sit and you read a paragraph from a fantastic business book, don't you? An inspiring business book. And I just thought, what an ingenious idea.
I love the book, and it's short and sweet and simple. And I thought, well, if it's going to benefit me, I'm sure it'll benefit everybody else. And people say to me, what the hell are you doing? But I go, but the feedback has been absolutely amazing. And the people say to me, oh my God, I just needed it for today. I just needed that.
Yeah.
It's done its job.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And thank you today for everyone that's watching and interacting with the chat. Again, please do give this video a like. It would really appreciate it. Do join the chat below, even if you're watching it on catch up. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to my channel, where I live every Monday with lots of social media tips and advice and fantastic guests like Farah. So
thank you very much, Bex. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we will see everybody next week, next Monday at 12:30. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.